Hey, Star. This is just Rod, and I'm calling because you requested some information, and we had a chance to talk when you went down to Houston, and you and family went on vacation on the cruise. And you told me to give you a call back when you got back, but I think you've probably been pretty busy, so I just figured I'd give you a call now and see how everything was going. Starlene, can you hear me? Yes, ma'am. So basically, I am the guy that you sent the information in with the final expense program. And so what I was doing, like I said, this is not a sales call and I'm not a telemarketer. And we've had this conversation. You drove down to Houston or Galveston actually to go on a cruise. And so I was just getting back to you to see uh, if we can talk a little bit about, what you were looking at. Yeah, I'm with Senior Life, and if you yes, ma'am, if you remember, we had the conversation and yeah.
Extremely busy and actually now is not a time. It came through three times and I thought maybe it was someone calling me under important information because it's like I don't have time to talk right now, but then it called me three times. So I'm like, okay, someone must clearly need to talk to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So when is going to be like we talked, it only took a few minutes to kind of like go through the program. So when is going to be a good time, as I said before, I knew we had a discussion about family and what was going on there and
Right.
yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
More on the cost
Yes,
of
ma'am.
different cost prices. And I didn't really see that. I thought maybe I was going to get that in that paperwork, and I didn't really see anything for cost wise.
Yes. So what were you looking for as far as cost wise?
That's why I was kind of wanting, usually they'll have the tables that tell you how much things are,
Yes,
if you
ma'am.
have this much, it's this much is this much. So
Yeah, so let me just say something about that. You know what that is, and I'll just tell you the honest truth. It's a way to actually get you to make a call to them. Most of the time, what happens is each one of the programs are based off your health conditions, the medications you take, and your age. And I can actually give you a quote on what it would be, and it only takes about 10 minutes to do. But as we talked before, the biggest issue was, I know you were looking for affordability, but you were also looking to make sure that you took care of your family when if something did happen. I have your information here, but what it didn't give me is it did not give me your date of birth.
10/13/75.
10/13/75. Hang on. So I'm gonna put in a little bit of information. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
So how was the trip to you guys went on a cruise, correct? How was it?
Texas is different.
Uh, did you
It was pretty windy and it was kind of during that storm that Texas never gets. Yeah. So it was a weird time to go to Texas because they don't ever get snow and ice, and they did.
Yes, ma'am. You absolutely right. So I show that you're 49 years young, is that correct? Okay, and I show you're in Franklin. And also from your message, look like you run a cleaning service or something like that. So how long have you been in the cleaning company business?
Since 2016. So almost 10 years, 9 years.
Yes, ma'am. Do you guys do residential and commercial, or you just, which one do you do? the most?
All
All
the
the above.
above.
So have you, that's pretty good. Yes, ma'am. So that means you have what, about 2 or 3 other, are they employees, or do you have them as 1099 contractors, your people?
No, it's just my partner and a friend of mine. She kind of works for me. She does a W-2 in the summertime, just when she's helping me.
Okay.
So it's just the 3 of us. Yep.
Wow.
I pretty much do it all myself.
Right, yeah, wow. That means it must keep you kind of busy and pretty tired, huh? Yes, ma'am. So have you ever been diagnosed with cancer or stroke?
No.
How about hospitalized 2 or more times in the last 10 years?
No.
Any tobacco or nicotine? Okay, about how tall are you? And you weigh?
150.
Oh man, that's a lot of work. So when you do the Army Corps of Engineers, is it a big project? Are those guys pretty messy, or do they clean up pretty? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we take care of 3 campgrounds while we're there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I still do residentials and businesses and things on the side too, because I have to have winter work.
Right,
So
right.
still keep my clients too.
Yes, ma'am. So the majority of your business is usually during the summer then, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So are you prescribed taking any medications?
Nope.
Okay. So that's pretty good. I mean, you're pretty healthy. Everything is pretty good. So yes, ma'am. So when you what made you want to look for coverage?
I guess just the older I'm getting, the more I need to be thinking, and we've had a few parents pass.
Wow.
So, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we should probably be starting to think about this. My mom's been kind of talking to me more about her will and just that kind of stuff. So, it's being talked about. So
Right.
kind of me think myself that I should be doing something.
Yes, ma'am. And so what I'll tell you is she's exactly right. The biggest piece of what happens though is the older we get, the more insurance costs. And I'll just tell you a little story about myself. I worked in corporate America for a long period of time, and always in corporate America, we would have insurance. We would have like a term life insurance policy. And I waited until I was at my older age, around 59, and my little self decided that no more corporate stuff. I decided to get some insurance, and it was just more expensive. And I wish I would have, 10 years earlier, I would have went ahead and got the insurance, because what you get now is locked in and it never goes up. And so that's the beauty of getting it. And when you're younger, I was lucky enough not to have any medications, no diabetes, no high blood pressure, and that type of stuff. So that made my policy pretty okay, but my age was the thing that got me, so it made it higher.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So one of the biggest deals, and I'll just talk about it a little bit, and I'll just go through this pretty quickly. We talk about the high cost of debt, and of course, the only unfortunate part, when we got through the pandemic, a lot of people died, but prices did go up, supply and demand, kind of like that tariff thing that they got going on now. Hopefully your cleaning supplies, hopefully you got enough of them, because depending on where they come from, the prices could hike on that too.
Right.
So funerals are the 3rd largest cost of a family. Death is certain, the cost of dying is not. So one of the 2 things with the program with Senior Life, what they do, and Senior Life, and I work with about 40 other different companies doing the thing. So most of the time I can find you the most a reasonable price for services. But Senior Life, what they do is they help you arrange it in advance, fund it in advance. And today's decision is tomorrow's peace of mind. But the biggest thing they do, we talked about it before, is you don't need as much insurance with Senior Life because they have a burial service program called Legacy. And what it simply does is simply provides caskets, false markers, monuments, and urns. So do you know if you want to be cremated or buried traditionally?
And that's kind of why I kept coming back to this Senior Life,
Yes,
because they had those programs that definitely intrigued me. Like I said, we just buried my partner, his mom. So
Wow.
it was like, you kind of get an idea of what things are costing. So
Yes, ma'am. You really do. And so what I normally do, depending on how people want to be buried or cremated, we normally have for your zip code all the funeral homes in your area to where we can tell you basically about how much that would cost on average, because they actually advertise that price. But with the Senior Life and the program we call Legacy, what we're able to do is if you're going to have what we call a direct cremation, it's usually around $1,000 to $1,200, and that's where actually it starts at about 800 to about 800 to about maybe 1,200. And that's a direct cremation. They cremate you, they put you in a box. So Legacy helps negotiate all of that. So we can get that down to about $800 to $900. And then if you have what we call the memorial services or the full cremation, that's where nobody knows what's happening to the body. It seems like it's just a regular funeral because they do the embalming, they put them in the casket, all that type stuff. Well, at Legacy, we can get that done for anywhere around $2,500 to $3,000. So you don't need as much insurance if you want to do that. And then a lot of times, the biggest piece is leaving behind just a little bit of money to help your partner with the expenses. So when when his mother passed away, did you guys have to help with any of the expenses or any of that stuff?
no, she had a whole life for 25,000, and she was cremated, and with the funeral, with using the funeral in the church, having the luncheon and everything, it was 11,000.
Wow. So in a situation like that we can't do the piece with the lunch and everything, but with the cremation part, we definitely could get. I mean, I could see easily where that could have been done at about $3,000, and that would have saved another probably 2,000 to 3,000 on that. So that's what the Legacy does. It's a great program. Okay, so all right. So the type of policy I would be able to get for you, and when you're looking, and I know you've looked for a few places, the Senior Life policy is going to be an immediate benefit policy. And what that simply means, if you've been looking at Colonial Penn and the rest of the guys on TV, they say $995, but it's less than $1,000 worth of coverage. But it has a 2-year period. They make you wait 2 years before. If you die within the 2 years, you don't collect. But the benefit you can get from Senior Life is an immediate benefit. You can do $5,000 to $30,000. It's also going to have an accidental death benefit to it, which means it's going to add an additional. So if we got the one at 5,000, say if you just wanted to get a small policy now and maybe increase it later, the $5,000 policy, and then if you want it, we'll add accidental death to it, so that'll make it 10,000. The amount that you would pay is locked in, so it's never gonna increase. So it's a rate lock, a guarantee lock. The benefits are locked in and guaranteed. The only way you can ever be denied or your policy canceled if you don't pay, but this policy will build cash value. So any money that you're putting in it now is going to act as a savings account, and it will continue to build, so you won't lose it. And then you can actually borrow against it. There are no medical exams. We will ask a few health questions, but I talk to people on a daily basis, and I have family members and friends that have actually had to use these services and Senior Life pays all of its claims within 24 hours without a death certificate. So I don't know what happened in your partner's mom's case, but a lot of times it takes insurance companies months to pay you that money.
She passed January 16th, February 16th, and we just got a check.
Wow. So give me that date again. She passed January what?
Basically the day before we were heading out that night at midnight. She passed. She fell, hit her head, and she ended up bleeding internally in her brain and passing out and basically not coming out of it.
Okay. Wow. Sorry to hear that.
So yeah, there was a lot to that whole trip.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the family was like, go, 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 go. You have to go. There's nothing you can do here until you get back. Just go. Try to keep your mind off of stuff and relax. And then when you get back, we'll deal with it. So that's what we did.
So were you guys able to relax?
I did my best. It was really good for him because otherwise he would have just probably sat around here and stirred because we don't really live close.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
would have to travel a lot. It just probably would have been a little more to handle. So it's probably a good thing that we just took a step back from it for a few days.
Right.
And we did go with friends. So that was really good too. It wasn't just him and I. We had friends that had lost their parents. So it gave time for him to kind of talk to them too.
And kind of grieve a little bit more and kind of,
Yeah.
and he wasn't in it alone, and you and him wasn't just facing it all by yourself with family. It gave him a chance to, and yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out. But yeah, whatever day we talked about that on the trip, I'm pretty sure it was February.
Yes, ma'am. It was, and it was actually a few days before you guys were going to go on the trip. Yeah. And you told me, yeah, I'm going on the trip next, and you told me the exact date, and you say I'll be back, but I didn't know that the tragedy had struck.
Yes.
You know, and you said you guys just got the check, like April?
Yeah, just last week because we just picked it up from his sister because then they paid out the funeral stuff, then they sent the check. Yeah, and it sounds like his sister did everything. She was the PR on it, and she just had to go rounds and rounds. Like they kept sending her to this person, and no, you need to go to that person, and you need this paperwork. And I already sent that paperwork. We didn't get it. It took her forever to get them to. She said, and then it just showed up one day in the mail.
Right.
So she was just starting to get really frustrated with all the paperwork, and then it just showed up.
Yes, ma'am. And so the beauty with Senior Life, what they do is they do their claims within 24 to 48 hours. And as I was telling you, how I know is because I had friends and family members that bought policies from me. And the only bad news with the Senior Life thing was I had one of my family members, there were the older sister bought the policy and the two younger sisters, and the youngest sister was trying to decide whether she wanted the money to be mailed to her, which is snail mail, slow. And what Senior Life wanted to do is overnight it with using Federal Express. And the one wanted to, and it was only going to be $7. I think $17 is what it was going to be. And so she didn't want to pay the $17. And at the end of the day, they explained to her, if we overnight it, we got a tracking number on it and we can reissue it if it get lost. But if you put it in the mail and it gets lost, we got to take 2 months to pay you. So eventually she got talked into, yes, ma'am, she did. Yes, ma'am, she did. Yes, ma'am, she did. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, so what so I did it paid within 24 hours, so you know what that experience is because you guys just got the check. I'm thinking probably around the 9th or the 10th, somewhere in there of April. And I'm glad that that check did show up, but I could tell your sister-in-law was pretty frustrated when she had to continue to redo the paperwork, right?
Definitely was, for sure.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So that includes the benefits. So if we, and I'll just tell you, so I'll just give you a policy, and I didn't know where you want it to be. So I'll just start off, I'll just start off at like at like 15,000, if you wanted 15,000. 15,000 is like 15,000 is $39.19. Now, let me explain what that is. That's $15,000 of natural causes. So if you die naturally, that's 15,000. And what you just said, your mother-in-law had an accident in her bathroom and slipped and fell, hit her head and bled out. She had a brain aneurysm. So, or a brain bleed. If that would have happened, then it would have been an additional $15,000, which makes it $30,000 for $39.29. 13,000 if you wanted it is $34.91. 12,000 is 32.76, and that's 12,000 accident and 12,000 natural. So that's $24,000 worth of complete coverage. The thing I like about the senior life policies is that they're really, not only do they pay, but they're really affordable, and they have the extra benefit is the accidental death and that burial services. So did any of those fit your budget?
Yeah, I mean, $30 seems pretty good. Do you have something higher, or is
Yes,
that?
ma'am. So I can go, yeah, like I said, the 15,000 was 39.19. 20,000, I can definitely go higher. 20,000 was like $49, and that's $20,000 accident and $20,000 of natural. So totally, like if that happened, that's $40,000 worth of coverage. It's $49.90. But I can still go higher. I just
Anybody trying to catch lives on here today?
on how much coverage you want.
Right.
So-
That was with 25 is 49.
Yeah, no, the 20,000 was $49.90, but the 25, if you wanted to go 25 was $60.41. I mean, it's 61 cents. So that's still not bad. So what we do is whatever budget you have, wherever you want to be, I can fit it based off the price you want and then tell you what that coverage is. So you tell me what. Go ahead.
20,000, so like that would work.
Yeah, the 20,000 for $49.90.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So who would you want your beneficiary to be on it? Okay, and you're gonna spell that for me, right? Oh, yeah, the same as yours. Okay. Stacey, Orlando. Okay, his relationship.
Partner.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So what we're gonna call it, so you guys have been together so long, he's your partner, but technically we would call it a spouse, correct?
Yeah, sure, yes. We're still together.
So how long have you guys been together?
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, we divorced after 5 and then just